Hello, humans. Hello, humans. Tuesday, November 4, 2:35 p.m. on the West Coast. We're bracing for coastal flooding and yada, yada, yadas. Not a big deal. I wanted you to consider, kindly indulge me, an interesting concept that all humans are co-creators of the reality in which we manifest, in which we live, and that most humans, almost all of them, are unaware of this. Very, very, very few humans understand that they are actually co-creating. This co-creation happens by creating a resonance that draws energy and a response, a reflection from what is called variously the monad or the pleroma or even supreme consciousness or the subconscious, however you want to think about it. All humans are doing this continuously. It happens because of our consciousness and our tie through the body to the material manifest world. It happens when a combination of three factors occur within a human: an intent, an emotional tonality, and a physical and let's call it this, just say a physical location in the body. And let's start from the back and go up. This physical location of the body has a corresponding location in the grander field of consciousness. So you can think of it as being it's also having an aspect in consciousness as well as in the physical realm. We have another one of these, which is called the claustrum, and it's the spot where where the secretion from the pineal gland and the pituitary gland are joined in the brain. And this is the land of milk and honey, as is cited by the Bible, because one fluid is white, the other is yellow. And this is where the seat of consciousness is, the claustrum. The co-creation aspect of this does not occur there. Energy from that does indeed go into the co-creation part. The co-creation part has a physical location, like the claustrum, but not the claustrum. We won't go into where it is. That physical location also has a mental analog. And so it's both within consciousness and in the physical world. And you can activate and manipulate the mental analog, the mind-only aspect of this, which triggers the physical aspect of it. And so once you have that physical aspect, then you're 1/3 of the way towards setting up a resonance that will cause reality to bend and alter itself in order to fulfill your command. And that's what it is. It's not a prayer, it's not a request, it's not an ask, and it's not a beg. All of those will defeat you. If you have any attitude along those lines, it won't work. It is a command to the pleroma, the abundant fullness that is creating everything around us constantly. And so you have this location within your mind, and you place a mental imagining there. We'll call this your intent. An aspect of this is the emotional tonality. And so the placement has to be accompanied by the energy behind the setting up of the vibration and the imagery, and it has to be done in such a way as to not have any conflicts. So it's not a delicate process. It is complex, but not complicated. So you will have as a co-creator, you have no input over how it's going to manifest. So it's not like you could manifest a Bronco car, right? You could manifest a car, and as long as you aren't specific about it, then universe will provide you with a vehicle. I kid you not, right? It just doesn't want to be told how to do it, right? And so there's rules to this whole manifestation process, and this has been hidden from you. All religions disguise this, because once you understand this, then you have no need for their hierarchy, and you see how their hierarchy is a bunch of horseshit. And go read my Substack, Eyes to See, for the 114 logia that Jesus said about this process. And even he says, fuck authority. Anyway, so here's the concept, though. All humans are co-creating our reality around us. As our vision of a potential reality expands, the universe is quite happy to keep creating that reality ahead of us. It'll even do it down into the minutia, like CERN, the guys that have the particle collider. They're hunting for the God particle, and they'll never run out of ever smaller particles, because universe, the monad, the pleroma, is quite happy to accommodate their desire of ever smaller particles. And so they'll keep finding as long as they keep looking. In any event, so this is the crux of the concept, though. Imagine a situation which is our reality, where most humans don't know they're creating the material right under their feet. They're creating the matter that they actually sit on. And that this, while we say it's an illusion, this is the most complex understanding of illusion as could be conceived. Now, they're doing it. They don't know they're doing it. This is why the evil ones, however you want to conceptualize them, want to use things like propaganda and memes and themes and slogans and all of that. Dogma, okay? All religions are dogma. The reason that you have the dogma is to block the mind from conscious co-creation. It's still going to co-create, but you can block the conscious aspect of it if you get the mind to be behind the dogma. This is why the Bible is not going to aid you. Believing on the Bible is not going to aid you. None of these things will aid your life in manifesting a new and a better life, because they're actually blocking the very principles upon which manifestation works. Now, that's the setup, that here we are, supposedly 8 billion people out here co-creating our reality, drawing forth the materium from the monad, from the pleroma, also known as the abundant fullness. And we're ignorant of it, right? We're as ignorant of it as pigs are of boat navigation. And along come some aliens. It's a wide universe out there. The monad is dealing with all kinds of life, not just humans. Along come some aliens. Maybe these aliens are much more clued in than us. Maybe they understand that, the monad exists. They're not going to give a shit about any of our religions. Religion is a mind fuck, so they don't care about any of that sort of thing. And they may actually find that to their advantage should they want to abuse humans, because they could insinuate themselves in some fashion in our eternal now. And through their ability, their understanding of the monad, and their understanding of co-creation, they could do things that would cause humanity to basically become an engine for them. Not necessarily take over our thoughts in a like a mechanistic or dictatorial kind of a fashion. Not that kind of a thing. But all they need to do is to get a particular image into a particular part of our heads, and to have us have a particular feeling at the same time that image is there. And that starts off this resonance process. So we could very easily be duped into providing them with the weapons for our own defeat, so to speak, right? But to a certain extent, there might be a saving grace. They wouldn't want to kill us off or anything because we'd be an engine for them, right? We'd be like a vast slave engine that would cause reality to bend in particular ways. We can also speculate that that there will be signs of such. Okay, so you're going to have that small group of people that are actively out there co-creating at a conscious level and have a very rich internal life as a result of this. And the more practiced ones will have an understanding of themselves within that internal life that goes back years, predating the arrival of, say, 3i Atlas, the aliens, right? And they're here in our eternal now, our local version of it here, just by being within our proximity. So if they're going to co-create, it has to be within the eternal now, the ever-present now, that we share with them, or that we have, right? They would be sharing ours, so to speak. They'd be intruding in it. And I believe that's actually happening, that that's the case, that there has been an intrusion into the eternal now by the space aliens. Now is where we start getting into really wild-ass speculation. Are they here deliberately to use humans this way? Do they have a greater understanding of the process and the monad and so on? What would their purpose be? Even if they seemingly ignore us, are they in fact also already using us? They don't have to interact with us in a seemingly outward fashion in order to get their mechanism in place, so to speak. So, just an interesting thing to think about, you know. Do you know your mind well enough to know if your co-creation ability is being A, sabotaged, and B, stolen, or, drained from you? Very few people will. There will be some, and they're the people that are already successful doing the co-creation, following that process, etc. And it's my thinking that they will know, that they'll feel the presence of the space aliens out in the eternal now, doing their whatever the hell, and that this will be apparent to the humans. So we'll see. Maybe it'll actually unfold that way. Anyway, yeah. Hey, you've almost done it. You've almost done it. You've almost survived 2025. Keep on, keep on. It's not that bad, guys. Most of it's behind us already.